Good morning, everyone, and I am Peter A. DeLuca, and this is AKAPAD's Audio Audacity Podcast. This is your pop culture haven. This is where the super geeks gather. Thank you for joining me, and if you're new here, subscribe, support, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Hit me up on Twitter, hit your boy up at AKAPAD. I'm everywhere. I've been posting a lot of artwork on Twitter because I'm also a comic book artist. I work a 9 to 5. Everyone calls me eclectic, so I guess I'm going to be the eclectic one. And we're talking Star Wars. We're talking the Clone Wars. If you're into animation, if you're into a master at his craft, the 2003 Cartoon Network Clone Wars. It was a 25 episode mini-sode, 3 to 15 minute long little guys that they would put on, between cartoons and between programming. We're going to get into that because this is not discussed enough. So you already hear that theme music. Let's just roll through it and rock and roll. A little rough on that intro. I am sorry. Look, everyone. It's early in the morning. I just got done binge drawing. It's roughly 9 o'clock on the AM. And I drew for about 4 hours already today. Yeah, knocking pieces out, meaning I just had a stack of mostly splash pages. And if you don't know comic book artwork, a splash page it's a single image. It's almost like a cover within the comic book, and but it doesn't have the cover design elements. Meaning we're not using triangulation, we're not twinning shots, we're not focusing in the middle. A splash page can be nearly anything, and most of my splash pages are just hero shots of the characters doing amazing things. Very commonly used technique, but I had a stack of them and I had to complete a little bit and touch up a little bit on each one, and I just spent hours doing that. But look, everyone, again, thank you so much for joining me. We're talking Star Wars. The entire world right now is talking Star Wars. In my deep dive into all of this, people have been talking Star Wars for a long time. I guess I faded away from it for a little bit too long, and I kind of forgot. I just didn't give myself perspective enough to almost hover above the earth and see the communication lines when it comes to Star Wars, to see those little beams of light of back and forth. And look, it went from the Star Wars conversation started in fanzines. The most notable was Banter Tracks, and look, there's stories of people getting hired through Banter Tracks that eventually worked at Lucasfilm, and then from those it went to legitimate sources, science fiction magazines. It actually went into Star Wars licensed magazines, and this continues the conversation. So the internet hits, and we have forums and blogs. Social media hits, and we have Facebook and groups, and now we're in this very diverse communication within Star Wars and communication in general, meaning that it's not just social media, meaning there's people within Instagram that don't communicate and go back and forth with the people who are committed to YouTube. The YouTube people are not communicating with Facebook, and we have this segmentation. Everything's a different compartment. It's very confusing, and we have more battle lines when it comes to Star Wars now than ever. And it's fascinating to me because I've been going in such a deep dive with these prequels because I keep going back to when I first saw these movies and how disappointing episodes 1, 2, and 3 were. They just got more and more disappointing. And there was almost an anger for episode 3. You went to go see it, you had to go see it, and there was an anger around that movie because it's just the other two didn't lead into it, and it's a very odd thing, and that's what Star Wars does to you. Star Wars just pulls your emotions. Now, between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, Lucas attempted what was the holiday special, and I have a feeling if the holiday special was well made and was a hit, and really took off, we would have got annual holiday specials. And this would have helped sustain Star Wars between the movies. But the holiday special was a complete train wreck. And it destroyed the idea of serialized Star Wars for television, for weekly consumption, until this. The Clone Wars, this animated series from Cartoon Network, pretty much saved that and brought it back and solidified it. Meaning, after this set the stage for the Clone Wars computer animated series, which is still going. It set the stage for Star Wars Rebels. I think there might be a third one that I'm forgetting. And even going right into The Mandalorian. It's significant when we look at the impact of a serialized Star Wars entertainment, because Star Wars itself is inspired by serialized entertainment. And so watching this, okay, and look, you can get it on YouTube. I don't recommend it, but otherwise you have to buy a physical DVD. And I'm not so into buying DVDs anymore. So I don't know if it's on Disney Plus, because I don't have Disney Plus. I just refuse. I'm sorry. I just refuse to jump right onto the Disney Plus bandwagon. So it's on YouTube, and the guy behind this, okay, I'm going to look at his name because I got to try and say his name, is Genndy Tartakovsky. And he's behind Dexter's Laboratory, or Dexter's Laboratory, and he's also behind Samurai Jack. These are your go-tos. Now look, this guy has a drawing style that is very simple and blocky, but holy crap, like his likeness of Count Dooku is amazing. His drawing of Emperor Palpatine or Senator Palpatine is amazing. His Obi-Wan Kenobi is amazing. His take on the designs of episodes 1 and 2 is just jaw-dropping. And what he does here, he tells the idea. He tells the story of what the Clone Wars are. So when Obi-Wan Kenobi references the Clone Wars to young Luke Skywalker, he references this. This is what he's talking about. And it's pretty effing cool. It's this idea of a manufactured war. So there's a lot of shots that are just repeated. They're like almost like patterns. It's very sophisticated. The story itself is worth remembering, because we have Ajaja Ventress. I can never pronounce her name. Star Wars names are tough sometimes. There's this story between her and Anakin, and her going towards the dark side and courting Count Dooku. And she eventually has to confront Anakin Skywalker as a part of her training. And this battle leads Anakin a step closer to the dark side, takes him away from the light side of the Force. It's so significant. We have Durg, who eventually will go up against Obi-Wan Kenobi. And it just sets the idea that Obi-Wan Kenobi takes out these leaders, because he eventually is going to take out, what's his name? General Grievous. And General Grievous is in. And General Grievous is the coolest he's ever been in this show. Kit Fisto, who dies fighting the Emperor, or the Senator Palpatine with Mace Windu in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. He has this amazing underwater sequence. Underwater lightsaber. We get to see an underwater lightsaber for the first time. There's just so much. And the reason why we're talking about this, because this was the beginning of sustaining Star Wars between movies. And it's a trend that continues today, because honest to God, if it wasn't for The Mandalorian, we would have had a mass exodus from the rise of Skywalker. I don't like saying it. I don't like admitting it. But it seems like the casual Star Wars fanatic is into the MCU and not Star Wars. And they needed a big punch for Rise of Skywalker. Look, we have to admit the franchise has not recovered from The Last Jedi. That doesn't mean there will be a run of new trilogy fanatics like we have for the prequels, which we're going to get into very soon, because our next episode we're going to discuss Revenge of the Sith, And my feelings around that, and where I was in life when I first saw that. And hey, I saw that movie 3 times in theater. So boom. So when it comes to the prequels, that's the one I saw the most. It was like almost like 1, 2, then 3. And then we go into this deconstruction period when it comes to the Clone Wars. And I mean, when it comes to the prequels, this deconstruction period, it comes from 2 angles. People who are enraged at the prequels and special editions, the original, the OG Star Wars trilogy fans, episodes 4, 5, and 6. And then we have the kids that grew up. Okay, and these are 2 separate fractions. And it's amazing to kind of what's happened since then. And kind of what happened to the prequels even post Rise of Skywalker. You might want to say, and I wish this would be a part of the conversation, but it's not. Clone Wars should be looked at as the best part of the prequels, but it's not. The prequels now have like crested over. They splashed along the shore and washed away the impact of Clone Wars and the coolness of it, because the kids grew up and took over the conversation, and now the prequels are not so bad, which is a very tough argument to make. But hey, everyone, go check this out. Do me a favor, go check it out. We're going to do, for episode 272, we're going to do Revenge of the Sith, my experience with that, and then we're going to get into 2 documentaries, and then we're going to get into The Force Awakens. Why am I talking about more Star Wars documentaries? Look, the Empire of Dreams episodes previously are not doing well. They're not. But I had to do them. They were important. They were significant to document. And I felt like I was contributing to the conversation by taking as many notes and dictating them to you as I did. So there you go. Hey. I love you all. Go out and create something. Go out and be obsessive about something. Go out and just be positive. Do me a favor. Just be positive. But until next time, rock and roll. And I'll talk to you soon.